I'm just trying to get a good scout on him, so I'm probably going to get most of these lings past. I get a couple of these lings down to attack the destructible rocks, but I'm not paying too much attention to the zerglings behind, so they're going to take out my units there pretty quickly. He's got some zerglings, a couple of hydralisks, and he's still got this infestor here. Now, he doesn't have neural parasite, but I don't really have a whole lot of units that are going to require the use of it. He's going to go for this hatcher, or for this spine crawler, and lose most of his units to that. He did get one decent fungal growth on the units right here earlier. I'm not too worried about this hydralisk. He's going to lose it. I do get really low on my queen, but I got that creep tumor down, which allows me to move everything forward if I need to. Starting another spine crawler, I noticed that he was really going pretty heavy ground. I don't have a scout on him at this point, so you can see I don't even see his infestor pit or any of the other stuff there. But at the same time, he still has no idea what I'm doing. All he knows about is the base down here, so I've done a pretty good job of hiding from him. At the same time, I do have quite a few drones up here now, and these are bringing in these orange minerals, which are worth more. I don't have a whole lot of other stuff going on here, and I haven't started taking out this destructible rock yet, but this gives me a really good... There I go. Gives me a really good expansion here to really take advantage of some of the extractors here and additional things, and then once this is done, I can go ahead and build a hatchery here, and then I'll have quite a few hatcheries up to pump out the units that I need. So I got a bunch of hydralisks. I figured these spine crawlers are going to do a very good job, and I'd get a spore crawler in case he was trying to burrow roaches under. Now, if he had done that, I probably would have had a really serious issue up here. I did not build a whole lot, but I'm finally getting my infestation pit, and I'm keeping these upgrades going. It's so important to get these upgrades early, especially against another player who's going the same units as you are. If you've got the upgrades, you've got the advantage. Probably would have been better for me to get the zergling, or the melee attack damage, as he's getting so many lings, but that's alright. So, I've got all these changelings going out to take a scout on his base. He's probably going to see most of them. He's going to turn around and whack the crap out of a few of them. I am probably going to get an okay scout. With 4 changelings, it gives me a pretty decent scout on most of the things he has. I wanted to make sure that I could check all these expansions, which I did. And then I'm going straight into his base. So he got that changeling. However, I got a couple more coming in the back. You'll see here, he's distracted pretty heavily, and I am going to get these changelings in. So I see that he's got that there. I'm also going to get a pretty good scout on the base inside, and so I see that he's got some spine crawlers here. He's got his queen here at almost full energy and still no larvae, and he's getting banelings. Now, it was probably too late for me to stop the banelings, which is not a great thing. However, I do manage to get a pretty good grip on that here. So he moves these out of the way so I can't see his banelings. I didn't really think a whole lot about it. I'm like, okay, we're going to have a couple banelings, that's fine. So, got a couple lings here in the front, and I myself am getting a baneling's nest here. There it goes. Meanwhile, he's got a couple hydralisks coming in here. He's got quite a few banelings. I mean, this is a pretty serious baneling force, especially after he's been harassing so well. So I've got a bunch of hydralisks, but I purposely spread these spine crawlers out, and I'm getting another spine crawler over here. Now, I see all the units he has, and I'm not going to get this overseer out of the way because I figured I'd go out and attack. Don't get a real good jump on these, and that fungal growth was just perfect to let all those banelings just chew up my hydralisks. So I lost a couple of those. I still have the roaches, which are going to do very well against this hydralisk, and there's no way he's going to be able to manage to take all these spine crawlers out, especially with this next one spawning. So I myself have a couple infestors coming out now. There we go. There's a few infestors there, and there's an infestor up here. I am also getting the neural parasite. I didn't have the best scout on him earlier. However, once I saw the layer, I'm like, well, maybe he'll get ultras at some point, and I'll use the neural parasite against him. As I had mentioned before, I'm using a lot of my units, and I've got all the drones set up the way that I want to, so that once I destroy the destructible rock and get the hatchery in, I'll have quite a few units. Now, he has a ton of minerals. He's not using them very effectively, which is something that happens pretty standard with a lot of players when they start not doing very well. He's almost freaked out on himself. He's like, hey, I've got all these units here, and I need to find something to do with them. I've got all these minerals, what do I do? Well, I'll just build a ton of something that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And so he's got a crap load of banelings here, which is totally useless. And I've got quite a few of these, a couple of zerglings, spine crawlers, and I've got my hydralisks and other things in here, and he's probably just going to send all of his units in at once and try to waste them all. Meanwhile, I'm busy over here watching these units. I don't really care. I'm waiting until I get 300 minerals, and I'm probably going to pop out a hatchery here soon. Couple units to defend, but if he had sent this force at my other expansion, I would have had some problems. So, I purposely put these roaches out front because they do very well against banelings. He's going to attack me with almost all those banelings, Didn't do a very good job of microing them around, and so while he took out a bunch of my spine crawlers, he really didn't do a whole lot of damage. I've still got 2 spine crawlers, a bunch of hydralisks. My infestors are still up. There's nothing really he can do. So I'm going to get another spine crawler. Fortunately for me, I got a bunch of these up, and I am going to get this hatchery here soon as I get the spine crawler moved out of the way. So there goes the hatchery, and that is a pretty standard move for me, is his expansion to the rich mineral fields and then getting the double hatch here, because it just lets you get so many units. So we've got a couple more minutes left in this, as you can see. I'm going to go over to the spending count. So you can see I've spent way more than he has, but I've also got a lot more than him. Spent more on my army, a lot more on technology, which just tells you that I'm getting way more upgrades than he is. I'm finally getting the level 2 there, and I'm probably going to go for the missile attacks level 3. I've got all my upgrades here, and I've probably got baneling speed. No, I do not. However, I did get the roach speed, and I do have ultralisk coming out, because I know that he's going melee ground units, and he's going to have some real serious problems with that. So he's got a bunch of his drones going out, and he did something really stupid, which I ended up noticing later. He still doesn't know I have an expansion here, so he's going to send all his units over this expansion without having the hatchery pre-built. First tip off to him should have been, hey, there's purple stuff here, I don't want to go down there, but he's going to do it anyway. So he's got quite a few minerals. He's finally getting this hatchery in here, and he's backed off just a bit. So he's got a couple of items here. Sounds to me like somebody just got a spire. Yep, there it is. So he runs down here, loses a ton of units to my hydralisks, sends his hydras down, and then proceeds to spend all his drones down as well, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm going to head them off. At this point, I've got quite a few units, and I'm actually just getting my ultralisks. So I've got a couple of ultralisks popping out here. Where are they? Where are you ultralisks? Come on, I know. There they are. Okay, so the ultralisk just finished. I'm going to get right in front of his base. Now, fortunately for me, I ended up catching all his drones, so he's run out of minerals here. Not very effective at expanding. He lost almost all his drones, so he's only got the drones he has here. He still has a huge economy, and he's not doing anything about it. He's not using that economy effectively. And so he's going to come over here and take out this queen pretty early. However, he saw the hydralisks I had, so I'm going to send my hydras back. Annoying move for me. I end up losing the queen here. However, I don't lose a whole lot of anything. I've still got quite a few units. You can see that my army is much bigger than his. He's barely used 37 of his item there. And in the production tab, you can see that I've got a lot more producing than he does. And so he's got 2 zerglings now, because he ended up losing all of his mutalisks. And I'm going to take out his hatchery here, which he didn't do very well. So he's massing zerglings. However, I'm building 3 of those, another queen, and I've got my 4 spore crawlers that are coming up. So I've got a couple of those there. Look at the army again. You can see that I've got so many more units than he does, and the actions per minute speak for themselves. I'm moving all of my military in here, and I've got the ultralisks to take out everything. I end up making a block, and this was on purpose to try to distract him while I get the ultras in here, and so it worked very well. And the game ended up ending right there. However, if you noticed right there at the end, I spit out all of those infested Terrans because I knew he was going to have lings, and I wanted to get my ultralisks out in the front. By throwing those out there, he's got a choice. He's either going to have to take out these infested Terrans, or he's going to get shot by them. And I've actually taken out half of a person's base with, 7 or 8 infestors popping infested Terrans up onto a hill. So thanks for watching. I'll have a couple more popping up this weekend, because I've got quite a few of these games showing up lately. I just haven't had time to record them all. So